Fuel economy. This has been a steady question and topic on my Project Royal Enfield series from the get-go. People constantly asking or wondering if any of these modifications and performance parts have affected the range or mile per gallon on this classic 350. I mean, look, I've had like 50 plus comments about this subject, but I didn't exactly want to make this video until I was finished with all of the performance mods that I originally intended on doing to this bike. If you're not familiar with my Project Royal Enfield series and or just need a refresher on the parts that have been installed on this bike, well, let me rattle them off for you. We have a DNA Stage 2 air filter kit, a Fuel X light, the full Hitchcock exhaust, and the Kent Performance Cam. There are, of course, other things that I've done like mirrors, touring seats, levers, and more, but all of these things are unrelated to the topic at hand in regards to, performance. There are, of course, other things you can do that may or may not affect fuel economy, like the 2 different big bore kits, which I still feel are kind of sketchy in my own personal opinion. There's a few other types of powertronics, fuel devices, and changing the sprockets will of course have some effect on fuel economy. I should point out that I have watched a few videos on this exact subject with a 350 Royal Enfield, but the problem I was consistently running into with these videos is that they're basing the results of like 1 or 2 fill-ups at the gas station, which in all reality is a really crap way to judge mile per gallon changes for many reasons. In my opinion, if you're going to document performance parts and how they affect fuel economy, you have to base it off of a handful or several consecutive fill-ups. If you're basing your opinions or results off of 1 or 2, it really doesn't hold any weight. Who's to say that individual didn't take different roads than they normally would, or who knows, maybe they rode that bike differently than they otherwise normally would. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it, and these things happen and do absolutely have an effect on mile per gallon. Which is exactly why I've spent nearly half a year making this video, recording all of my data, which consists of my last 10 consecutive fill-ups at gas stations. By the end of this whole thing, I ended up putting just shy of 1,500 miles on my classic 350, which I would imagine is more than enough to give you guys a nice, accurate, real-world data, an idea of just how much these performance parts will affect the bike and its fuel economy. So let's cut to the chase here. What I have done is I've made a spreadsheet showing those last 10 fill-ups after all the performance parts were installed onto my bike since the cam video a handful of months ago. I specified the roads I traveled on and even included some other information that I felt was important for me to bring up. And before I really delve into this, I should point out something else. Royal Enfield's American website does not specify mile per gallon off of a normal classic 350. It does show the fuel tank capacity at 3.43 gallons. Which is kind of odd, by the way, because anytime I hit like 2.1 gallons of spent fuel, I'm at the 1 bar mark on my fuel gauge. It's hard to believe I still have over 1 gallon left at my disposal. And no, I don't intend to find that out firsthand. Even the owner's manual states that running past the final gas bar is not recommended, claiming that it will damage the fuel pump. According to Google's AI feature, it says the Classic gets a 78.6 mile per gallon, but then further goes to say owners are reporting numbers of 35 kplm, which in the US is approximately 82 miles per gallon. Maybe for the sake of this, we should just go with the number of 80 miles per gallon off of a stock bike. The other problem here is what are we basing this number off of? 80 miles per gallon of combined highway and city travel? I guess so, because according to my spreadsheet, those numbers would mostly reflect that. According to the results 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10, those numbers were either spot on or not terribly far off from that of a stock bike. The major dips in the fuel economy just so happened when I took the motorcycle on the highways to Works Power Sports of Fort Wayne, where I was pretty much doing wide open throttle a good portion of the time due to the speed limit being consistently around 65. But in all reality, everyone was going 70 plus. Also, a noticeable dip in fuel economy happened during my times of traveling at mostly city speeds, which, for the record, when I say city travel, I'm talking roads that are consistently under 55 miles an hour. Anything past that, I'm throwing in the highway section of travel. Anyway, the results 6, 7, and 9 would show a substantial dip in fuel economy. I'm sure it probably doesn't help that for some God knows reason, they felt like doing a ton of road construction where I live, which of course means I was in stop and go traffic for extended, very annoying periods of time. But again, this is more about real world data. So these cases of construction and stop and go traffic happen throughout our lives anyway. When you go to average everything up over the past 1,500-ish miles, I was hitting the average of 68.5 miles per gallon. For shits, I even calculated without the 2 times I was basically banging it off the speed limiter with the Works Power Sports travel thing. And I was pulling around 73 miles per gallon, which I think is pretty damn great. If you really think about it, 78 miles per gallon off of a stock bike. I'm not exactly losing a whole lot with all of these mods. And in those results of the highway city mix, I wasn't exactly losing much fuel economy at all. Take these numbers and the results and come up with your own conclusions. Yeah, your fuel economy will suffer to some degree. You'd be crazy to think otherwise. But is it dramatic enough to really make that significant of an impact in daily travel? I don't know about you, but for me, not at all. My thoughts are pretty simple on this. If you plan on riding a J-Series bike like the Classic 350, as you would typically intend without, constant wide open throttle on the highway, banging it off that speed limiter, I'm not exactly sure you'll notice much of a difference in fuel economy whatsoever, especially if your highway speeds are just like cruising at 60-ish miles per hour and you're not being hyper aggressive during city travel. Even if I am beating the piss out of the Classic 350, I'm still getting far better gas mileage than both of my Kawasaki Versys 300 and my Yamaha Bolt. Not that this is going to matter to most people. For the record, since I've owned this bike, I've only ever put premium fuel into the tank. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on what fuel to use for the motorcycle. Just save those opinions. I've heard them all before. Premium fuel is the baseline across my entire spreadsheet results. Take that for what it is. And look, I understand that people are maybe still going to feel like this test is not all that accurate because I don't have a stock Classic 350 to really compare this to in the same exact way I documented all of these results with my modified Classic. I get that. But at the same time, the idea that I'm going to have 2 of the exact same motorcycle and spend nearly a year's worth of time to be able to come up with enough data, I think is more trouble than it's worth, at least for a small channel like my own. Which is why I have to base this off of the alleged 78 to 82 mile per gallon rating that I was somewhat able to find online. So with that said, that is going to do it for this video. I'm hoping that I was able to answer a lot of your questions with this entire subject. I could go into this further, maybe if I decided to do something with the sprockets or even a big bore kit, but the jury is still out if I'm even going to do that. Honestly, what I'm more into right at this minute is to get rid of these awful seat tires and throw them in the trash and put something even remotely decent on the classic 350. White walls? I don't know. That might be overkill, but new tires is my main concern at this point, and why I hate the stock ones is a topic for another time. Hey, anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I rarely ask for this, but if this video helped you out, do me a huge favor, please, and like the video, even share it to your Royal Enfield buddies. Take care, everyone, and as always, try to ride safe out there.